This is the Wrestling Fan and Wrestling Show. I'm the big beefy boy, Shaz Beef, and today I'm joined by my fellow old buck in Morro. Good afternoon, Morro. I was going to say good morrow, but it's
the evening.
It's the evening.
It's
a late one.
We intended to get here earlier, but I'm a local businessman now, and I have to take care of business.
Shelling out goods.
Goods, babe.
Just not goods.
The best of goods.
Oh, I've shelled out a lot of dosh on goods over the past 20 years, say even more. And a lot of that money has gone on wrestling memorabilia.
It has.
Whether it be action figures,
yes,
magazines, as we can clearly see here,
almanacs,
DVDs, even VHSs.
Some VHSs.
A lot of my money, though.
Subscriptions.
Yeah. A lot of my money, though, has gone on T-shirts. Oh, fuck.
Lots of T-shirts.
Lots of T-shirts.
I spent way too much on
You're
T-shirts.
wearing a WCW hat.
I didn't shell out money on this.
Yeah, took it from Dunphy.
Yeah, I robbed it because he's weaker than me. He's lower on the food chain.
Stared at him and said, give me your hat, but subconsciously.
Hat? I want that hat.
Yeah. But I spent a lot of money on video games.
Did you?
But not just like video games, wrestling video games.
Primarily, would you say?
Yeah, that was probably like I had my wrestling purchases that I had to every wrestling video game that came out I wanted to get.
That was in your calendar.
Yeah, and I would buy specific consoles based on wrestling games.
What was the release was that year?
Yeah,
No Mercy came out on the friggin' N64.
Well, this is what I want to get into because I didn't have any money then. I was only a little baby boy. I was only little Shaz then.
You were little Shaz, one big beefy boy. Shaz
I wasn't
beef.
Big beefy boy. No, I was little Veely boy.
Yeah, Veal boy.
The Veal boy. Little
Veely beef.
Shaz. Little Shaz Veal.
Little Shaz Veal.
Anyway, if you're new to this channel, thank you very much. We may have got some people over from TikTok, and we actually did really well on the channel over the past while. About 160,000 views on all the different platforms.
Not bad. That's 28 days, is it?
Yeah, over the last 28 days. That's pretty cool.
I don't know what the average is out of there, but
it doesn't average to any money, so don't worry. You're not going to have to declare anything to the taxman.
That's why I'm off selling goods, you know what I mean?
But we're going to talk about video games in wrestling because WWE 2K25 is scheduled to come out. There are some independent video games that are in the pipeline that may or may not excite certain people. And we're kind of going to look at the history of wrestling video games because it is something that was very important to my fandom growing up, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're currently engrossed in a video game based around wrestling as well.
Absolutely bet into a video game.
Now we'll get into that. We'll get into this.
It's turning into an addiction.
But you could be worse. There could be worse things that you are addicted to.
I have a problem.
I know you have a problem, bro.
I'm addicted to a video game.
I'm here for you, man.
Thanks,
I'm here for you.
Thanks.
I want to kind of go into maybe your first wrestling video game or your first wrestling video game memory. Because
I have two different.
I have a memory, but I have two memories that then became. I remember I made my first wrestling video game purchase.
Yeah, my two memories are different. I have an early memory of a video game, two video games, and also my first purchase.
Okay. Shall I go first or you?
You go first.
Well, my mind was blown when I used to go up to my cousin's house, my cousin Robbie, and he had a Sega Mega Drive.
Yes.
Sega. And we used to play Shinobi and
a game.
Sega or Sonic.
Streets of Rage.
What a game. I wasn't a big fan of Golden Axe.
No, same. I was Shinobi though.
Shinobi and Streets of Rage.
To me eyeballs in
I remember
Shinobi.
bursting out the Olympics like 94.
What a game.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
That is actually.
And my cousin used to whoop my ass all the time.
But you remember you could do the hammer throw?
Yeah.
That was sensational.
What a game, actually. Games were so simple back then. Yeah. Road Rage or Road Rash.
Yeah.
Road Rash, they were all great. But I remember the first time my cousin, he actually rented this game for the weekend. I don't even know specifically what one it was, but it was a WWF game.
Yeah.
And my mind was blown.
Blue ring?
I just remembered it like character select screen.
Yeah.
Because you could go and select a character and it would play their music.
Papa Shango.
He used to put on Papa Shango in the middle of the night, right?
Scare the bollocks off you.
So Papa Shango, it'd be all and he'd whisper and he'd go, Papa Shango.
God, when that game was out, you must have been about 6 or something.
Less, I'd say, yeah.
Even less, actually.
Like, so Papa Shango was what, 92?
Yeah.
So it would have been 1993. I would have been 4 or 5.
I think that game came out in 93, if I remember correctly.
So we would have maybe getting it here in Ireland in 94. So I would have been about 5,
yeah, I was about 7, 8, 7.
4 or 5. And I just remember him going, Papa Shango.
Yeah, and you had The Undertaker in it. Boss Man, I think, was in it. Bret Hart was in it. Hogan was in it.
And I was still blown away
Warrior
by
was in
these guys, because growing up, I didn't have a lot of access to wrestling.
Yeah.
So when I did, it was special, no matter what format. Whether it be catching it on Sky or seeing, even just seeing a VHS tape
Down in Hennessy's video store.
Seeing the cover and going, wow, look at, and something like Survivor Series blowing your mind because everybody was on it.
There's 20 lads on the cover,
and you thought if you're getting Survivor Series, you're going to get value for money because you're going to see everybody.
Yeah.
Even like what was the silver screen?
Yeah, silver screen. So what's silver screen?
Home video.
Silver screen?
I know it's silver something. I remember I put a joke in one of the documentaries, or the piss take documentaries that we do on what was the early start of the wrestling show.
Yeah,
and I had one of those screens at the start or whatever.
I remember the image. I can't remember silver something. Yeah, I can't remember.
But VHS home video stuff, and I was just blown away by it. And then I was blown away by the action figures, and then the video games. Yeah. The video games just, I could not believe
it. Video games in some way in those days felt like the action figures had come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like we were simple folk back then.
We were simple folk.
Very simple. Some would argue we're still simple folk, but we just have a more quiet taste. What would have been your first memory?
First memory was down in Tramore. At the hurdy-gurdies with the little stick and the 3 buttons.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, the little stick and the 3 buttons. And you're giving it
like
all
the
that.
arcade,
arcade game. Yeah, it was like a Royal Rumble arcade game down in Tramore. I was probably 6 or 7 as well.
And they were big back then, like Mortal Kombat. And,
loads of them, Street Fighter, everything. But they had a boxing one and a Royal Rumble wrestling one beside each other.
Yeah.
I used to just jump from one to the other.
Class.
Engrossed for hours. That gave me 50p.
Like wrestling's so colourful as well.
Yeah.
That it just, in that pixelated format, looked
jumps
amazing.
Off the screen,
And then my next memory is when a guy called Mark Shortle, he used to kind of, so on my street, we used to all be fans of wrestling.
Wrestle the heads off each other.
I was the youngest, so I'd always get my head kicked in.
Yeah, I was the oldest, so I was
doing the head kicking.
Yeah. I've never been pinned still to this day.
Mark Shortle called over to my house when we had PS1, and I'd have like Abe's Odyssey and these kind of games. But he brought over Warzone. Now, looking back, Warzone's a pretty dog shit game. But
is it though?
It was hard to play. Cross, triangle, square.
There was a lot of button mashing. Yes, yeah.
Well, no, it's not even mashing.
Not
like
mashing.
It had to be.
There was actually combos that you'd have to put in.
It's like you're putting in fucking cheat codes to do a suplex.
Yeah. And like to do the special moves, it was hard.
But like I loved the loading screen for Warzone.
Sensation.
And stuff like that. Oh man, like hearing their voices.
The career mode in it had a calendar with all the events in it.
Yeah, that and
Sunday Night Heat, everything on it.
Special.
Yeah, because that's my next
Ahmed
memory.
Johnson in it.
Do you remember down in Kieran Street there was a little video game store? I think it's what is it now? It's a Barbers.
Oh, I didn't know there was a video game store.
Game store there down in Kieran Street. And I remember the morning Warzone came out. People queuing up for it.
Oh, wow.
I was the first in the queue.
So Austin on the front of the cover.
First in the queue.
Wow.
12 years of it. 11 or 12. 98 it came out, was it? I think it was 98 it came out. First in the queue. Boom. Home. And no joke. I played that game for 48 hours straight.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
It's class.
That's my first purchasable memory, shall we say.
My first purchasable memory was Sherwood's used to have a deal where you just pay off on stuff.
Yeah,
You'd have it on layaway or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember like saving up enough for the deposit. I think it was £40, so we weren't even in euros.
Yeah, that was before 2002. Yeah,
definitely. But I would have been like 10.
You might get a £5 a week at home. Like,
so I think it could have been a 20% deposit. So I'd have to like save up £8, and then I'd pay off £2
a week.
Yeah. And I'd get to keep the game, but I'd have that game during the whole time that I'm paying off.
Yeah.
And I was never as proud to play anything than play Attitude. and like create your own
Yeah,
characters.
that's probably the second game.
Yeah, and like even like looking back on it with all that pixelated kind of twists like that.
But it looked unreal at the
Shane
time,
O'Mac
though.
is in it, and then like he could have tables, and like I remember just being engrossed by Kane's entrance and the colors scheme had changed, and it was just it was a lot of fun at the time.
It was,
and I remember like trying. My cousin had WCW versus the World.
Yeah, I never got that game actually.
Yeah, but a lot of people
got a different WCW game, but I can't remember what it was. Was there an NWO game?
Yeah, I'll get into that now in a sec.
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
I was never big on WCW versus the World because I just didn't know how to play it, if you get me. And I was a big WCW fan growing up, but like there was a lot of Japanese wrestlers that I wouldn't have known and all that kind of stuff.
That's when they were in their partnership with New Japan.
Yeah, but people still hold it in with like quite high reverence, but it was never something for me. But I remember being over at my cousin's house on a Saturday night and we're trying to play it, and I'm in like a fever dream trying to play it.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, because I'm just like hopped up on sugar, and I was after watching Malcolm in the Middle twice, and
Deadly.
you know, I'm just like
buzzing
and but yeah, I was just playing Attitude, and you start seeing then more games come out. So you're talking about WCW NWO Revenge.
Yeah, that's the one I had.
N64.
Yeah,
N64. I never had.
No, I didn't have that then.
I made Thunder.
Was that a PlayStation game?
No, Thunder.
There was an NWO PlayStation game, was there?
I don't believe so. Quite possibly there was, but I don't.
I had some WCW game on the PlayStation because I remember Sting.
There was like Nitro, I think,
Maybe
and Mayhem. Sting was on
Mayhem. That's the one I had. Yeah.
That was maybe a bit later, but like because I think it had a new logo on it and
Yeah,
stuff.
it was real blue cover.
Yeah. So I think Goldberg was on the front.
Possibly.
But I remember my friend Mark Shortle, once again, he had an N64. So going to watch, say, WCW Thunder and seeing the character loading screens again. And I was
blown away.
Like, yeah, because now they're actually cutting promos. Like, you look back on it now and you're like, the sound is dog shit on it because they're clearly like in a recording booth. And
but also you have to remember, our TVs and all were crap at the time as well. So there was no surround sound or any of that kind of carry on.
But because I missed out on the N64, I missed out on WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy.
And No Mercy is universally regarded as one of the great.
And it's what Kenny Omega stated was basically the precipice of
the goal for Fight Forever.
We'll
get to that.
Yeah, so like I know we're kind of breezing through these games, and there was a lot more games that like came before.
Yeah,
a lot of arcade games. We actually have an emulator over there that has all those games as well, button mashing kind of stuff. But we're breezing through them because I think when we were young, we did breeze through them. You know, you didn't pay too much attention to it, and maybe that's the problem that I have now with wrestling games. Is that I want to maybe I expect too much from them, but like I think there is serious flaws with what we're getting at the moment. So the first one that I really like, I invested all my time into that, but I was just like doing matches and trying to do career mode, and there wasn't anything necessarily career modey about it. But when SmackDown, the first one on the PS1 came out,
love that game.
All bets are off.
Yeah, love that game.
Easy to play.
Yeah.
So pick up
that
and
was just hit L2 for your finisher when you got the bar up. You didn't have to do 18 buttons to do a
story modes.
Yeah.
You had for the time a very expansive create wrestler.
Yeah. And a create arena, I think, was the first game with that as well, wasn't it?
There was a pay-per-view.
Yes.
So and then they'd give you a rating on that, and that's what made me kind of fall in love with booking wrestling shows and fantasy booking and like getting going, I can actually do this. This is nuts.
And when you put your logo in it came up all over the arena and all. It was insane.
I don't know about that, but
maybe that was a SmackDown versus Raw.
We'll get into all that.
Here comes the pain.
But like the first SmackDown was just so revolutionary, I think.
It was ahead of its time.
What I would compare it to is, for wrestling games, is the transition from GTA 2 and GTA London to GTA 3.
Yeah, that's fair, actually, yeah.
Because you had that over-the-top stuff, and GTA was always fun on the PS1, but when it became GTA 3,
GTA 3 was just sensational.
And like, I never had that game until years later. Yeah. I have it now, but until years later, because there's those special moments where you're in your friend's house and he's playing it, and then he's like,
Your turn.
Do you want to have a go?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck yeah, I want to have a
I
go.
tell you a good one now, because I had like on the PS2 Final Fantasy VII. Remember that 4 discs, right?
Never liked Final Fantasy.
And I completed the first disc, and I got stuck somewhere on the second disc, and I just I just had to quit. And after that, I kind of hadn't really played game like kind of with story type games like that until GTA 3 came out.
Yeah.
And I was so obsessed with GTA 3. It was like, still to this day, one of maybe 7 games I've ever completed 100% fully done.
I was never big into like 100%, but like if I completed the story, that was enough for me.
Yeah. Maybe now looking back, I was young lad. I mightn't have done every single little Easter egg side mission, but one of the first and only games I ever completed. Yeah, GTA 3 and GTA 4 San Andreas, like
GTA 4 is Vice City.
Sorry, 5 is no
GTA. Yes,
GTA 4 San Andreas.
GTA 4 is with Nico. That's Xbox 360.
With Nico
in New York or Liberty City.
Is that not 5?
No, 5 is
what's San Andreas?
San Andreas is just GTA San Andreas. So you had GTA 3, you had GTA Vice City, you had GTA San Andreas, you had like Chinatown Wars and all that, but then you had GTA 4, which is with Nico.
Yes, sorry, GTA 5 then is back in...
is with Michael, Trevor and Franklin.
Yeah. GTA 4 or GTA San Andreas, right? I remember we were in college when that came out, first year of university.
Sorry about this, yeah.
And we did a thing where between about 4 or 5 of us, we took shifts.
Yeah.
To finish the game. Shift work.
Right, so when GTA came out, I was always into my wrestling games, right?
Yeah.
Never really into like those big, like I never had the money to buy stuff like that because I was spending all my money on wrestling shit. But I ended up having money on the day before GTA San Andreas comes out. And all my friends had pre-booked it. So they had to wait until the day it came out. But I found out there was a little shop down on James Street in Kilkenny that were going to sell it before the day it was meant to go on sale. Yeah. So I went down and bought it. As all the lads were waiting, like they had their deposits on, they had it for months and months. And then the guy who didn't even want it ended up buying it. And they all sat and watched as I played the game.
I love it.
And they were like, do a mission. I'm like, nah. And I was just cycling around.
Yeah,
because you could cycle on it.
I
was like, class.
I genuinely think to this day, like, San Andreas is the best video game ever made.
I went back and replayed a load of missions there recently.
Yeah.
I just listened to Freebird as you're driving around.
A 5-hour video of a lad doing a playthrough on it on YouTube. A 5-hour
Man,
video.
I watched the...
I didn't watch it in one sitting.
I watched... So me and my missus watched The Last of Us TV show.
Top class, yeah.
And then I'm a detractor of it.
Okay.
But then we watched the actual, like...
Yeah.
Playthrough of, and she was like, that's so much better. I was like, thank you.
Well, look, The Last of Us video game is like almost like flawless. Like,
oh yeah, I thought you were going to say it's completely different from the.
No, it's it's flawless. It's a work of art.
I thought you were making a movie podcast or a TV pod. We could talk about it on that.
Yeah.
Because I have serious problems with that fucking TV show.
We'll do
the disappointment of it.
I wasn't disappointed. I don't think it was as good as the game, but I wasn't disappointed by it.
Like, you know that. Sorry, now if you're here for wrestling, and maybe you disagree with us on this because maybe there's a lot of cross promotion. And the reason why I want to mention GTA is because I think that gets into the wider problem of the games that we have anyway. So
I think I know where you're going with this.
You know the Nick Offerman storyline in The Last of Us.
Yep.
That like people are like, oh, it's so beautiful and all that. It's a relationship between two guys.
I'm one of those people,
right? Fair enough, right? Really good TV show, but for the characters that they were portraying, I think they made the world look too nice in a way because the storyline in the video game, spoilers, is I can't remember the names. Nick Offerman's character, right? It's alluded to that maybe he might have had a relationship with this guy, but this guy fucking hated his guts so much that he chose to kill himself.
Yeah.
And I think that is a lot more dark and
maybe more indicative of the world we're in. Yeah, I can understand.
So when I seen this, I was like, "That's a nice ending," but I would have preferred
The other end.
the old end. Even though I knew it, I was like, I knew it was coming, and then when it came, I was like, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
But
I suppose,
it's not all for me. But I always thought the Last of Us world.
I liked that change. Probably because I just thought the episode was brilliant.
I didn't like the sense of hope.
There was a sense of hope.
I didn't like the sense of hope that
a lot of
gave
that
it.
hope gets dragged out by the end of the series, though.
Yeah, but in playing the video game, I remember the first time playing that video game.
Playing that video game for the first time is like a religious experience.
Oh man, I finished it 3 times.
Yeah.
Because I was just, and I've never done that with a game.
I played it fully through once.
I was just like blown away by it in a way that I don't think I've ever experienced. I had the week off work, and I just happened to wander down. I seen The Last of Us. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
I like zombie games because I grew up on Resident Evil.
We all grew up in Resident Evil, yeah.
And so I said, right, I'll give it a go. I remember playing it, because it takes me like a long time to get into a game.
Yeah.
Because you know they're always trying to give you tutorials and blah, blah, blah. Like the fucking snow level in Red Dead. I went back to try and play it, and I was like, I don't want to
I can't go through this again.
But that sucked me in immediately.
Yeah.
Just that it was like watching a movie, playing a movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the wrestling game.
Back to the wrestling games.
I think story modes then became quite important by the time we got to SmackDown 2. So SmackDown 2 had this never-ending story.
Yeah, I love, because every other game, even now, you get like a 1 year story.
And that's why I was so annoyed by Just Bring It. SmackDown Just Bring It. I remember, because that was the first swap over to the PS2.
That became 2 WrestleMania cycles.
No, it didn't. No.
Was it not?
It was like a 3-month cycle. And then you could do different cycles with different wrestlers.
Oh, yeah,
So if you're Dean Malenko
yeah.
or whatever, you can go for the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
And Fred Durst shows up in it. And you're like, I remember being so excited to just play the story mode. Because you felt like you were in a universe, and you felt like you were in a universe that was the universe that was replicated on television.
Yeah.
So often I think games, they try and do like, oh, this person's backstage, go and talk to them. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, but this isn't what we see on the television product. It's just 2 people. I want to be a WWE wrestler, and being a WWE wrestler is actually what we see on the screen. It's not like go take fucking selfies by Monument.
Yeah.
Like in Fight Forever.
Yeah, so you're talking about when you're kind of relating that to GTA and all, it's the GTA-ification of games, of the open world thing.
Kind of. Because GTA and Red Dead Redemption just absolutely is such a massive sandbox that I think you ultimately become disappointed with things that had a very clear focus in what the game was. And now they try and expand it.
Yeah.
And expand it.
Not everything needs to be GTA or Red Dead.
But you can't be set. But even if they didn't do that, you can't be satisfied by it, because you have paid the same amount of money for this game, and this is what you got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I used to like hockey games growing up.
Yeah.
But I can't fucking play a hockey game now, because it's just hockey. You know? I love golf games growing up. I don't think I can really go into a golf game now, because I can do golf in GTA.
I can still play them.
Like Tiger Woods 04, fucking masterpiece.
Tiger Woods 11 as well. Yeah. Tiger Woods 11, again, in terms of sports games, is like as close to perfection as it gets.
Like in around 2000,
it's the ultimate crossover of like skill and simplicity.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to play, it's hard to be excellent at it.
Yeah. Like in around 2016, I found my old Xbox.
Nice.
So I got my old Xbox out, and when I was living with my mate, it was just one controller, and we all played 18 holes.
Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember we passed our controller over.
We did that back in 04, and then when we found it, it was like, oh, let's do it for fun. But it became a thing.
We had in our college house, Tiger Woods 11, leaderboard charts on the walls, and we tracked the results over a full college year.
But did you ever do that with wrestling games?
No, not really. That was more of a solitary.
I did a lot of multiplayer matches with wrestling games that were quite fun. But I don't think I've ever been able to replicate it. Maybe in later games when you could do like a tournament mode, somewhat like a King of the Ring.
Yeah.
And then you could be coming up against your mate or whatever. But never replicated it. That type of joy that you get from passing the controller, like in a Mario Kart, where it's 2 minutes.
Yeah, boom,
you
boom, boom.
Like you come last, you pass the controller. Top 2 stays on. You know, that kind of way.
Deadly. Great boys. You could do that all night, you see.
Yeah, but like SmackDown 2, I could do that with my cousin.
Yeah, and like
we created our own tag team.
With FIFA, in college again, we used to do a lot of that with like FIFA and Pro Ev, of like competitions playing against each other and having then to watch 2 other lads playing a final.
Oh, it's fucking sucks.
You know, we might stick a $5 in each or something. It's like the winner gets 20 quid, like, or 30 quid. College, like 30 quid, like, oh my god. And like losing a $5 in college, you're like, right, yeah, sure. That's no lunch on Tuesday.
But this is what I hate about the modern gaming economy, is that I think a lot of that local multiplayer shit is gone. Like, I'm looking for couch co-ops for me and my missus to play. And It Takes Two, fantastic. Resident Evil 5, fantastic. Unravel 2, fantastic. A Way Out, all right.
Fall Guys?
No, is that first person?
No. You can, like that, play it the way you're talking about, trying to climb up this thing.
But we need each other to do it.
Like, no! You're kind of racing against each other.
No. Like, this is
co-op,
like
a
co-op story mode.
Right? Yeah, I get you.
Because some great memories are just like couch co-ops, sitting down with people. And I think wrestling games were good if it was just you and someone else. If you creating a tag team, or you can go through a fucking story mode as like this one wrestler or whatever.
You can pass back and forth and
Like, and I think story modes are so crucial to these games, and they get forgotten about so much. Like, so branching out, I remember before we get onto this, the PS1 stories. So I had Mayhem, and I had WCW Backstage Assault. WCW Backstage Assault is the biggest piece of wank that I've ever played until I played Fight Forever. Like, I remember being so disappointed that I know it's called Backstage Assault, but as a kid, when you see Goldberg jackhammering someone on the front of it, you're like, I'm going to have a wrestling game. And this is where, like, I'm like, I just want a wrestling game.
So there was no ring in it?
No, it was just all backstage.
That's a money grab.
It's a money grab, right?
It's a money grab, yeah.
And I think
that should be a mode within the game.
Yeah. And I think a lot of these things nowadays are doing this stuff where they're actually not focusing on the fucking wrestling. Yeah. And that's why I really loved when WCW folded. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't love when WCW folded. I never played the ECW games either.
I played one of them, yeah.
Like, one of them had a fucking lava around the ring.
Yeah.
And you're like, why is there lava around the ECW ring?
This breaks my what's that thing?
This breaks the universe for me.
Yeah. You're invested in the story.
Attention?
No.
Suspension of disbelief?
Correct, suspension of disbelief.
Like, I know it's a video game, but like, they're just like, oh, that
but
worked.
I play a video game because I want, like, especially when I'm younger, like, I want to feel like I'm the actual wrestler.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that worked in Spyro, it must work here. I'm like, fuck no.
Spyro's a fantasy game.
And it's a fantastic game. I love Spyro.
I'm not dissing Spyro. But you're buying into a fantasy world for that.
Yeah.
When I'm playing wrestling, I want to buy into a wrestling world.
Exactly. And then when you play GTA, you're buying into an open world where...
Yeah.
So, right?
I'm going to be a criminal.
So that's what I loved when... actually, those PS1 games, I used to have the PS1 sleeve.
Deadly, yeah.
And I'd come home sometimes and I'd open it up, and my brother or my cousin, I think, would come up to my room and bite it and snap, and I could never play the game.
I can't understand that.
I was absolutely dead. I was like, why are you leaving him up to my fucking room?
Yeah, that needs lock and key.
So from there, I really liked the Legends of Wrestling games initially.
Never played them.
No, I played the first two. I could never afford the third one at the time it came out. I just liked the idea that we're getting Legends.
Yeah. It's a great concept.
Yeah, it was like, wow, okay,
yeah,
cool.
I wasn't playing many wrestling games around that time.
Like, SmackDown Just Bring It came out, and
is it SmackDown Just Bring It, or is it SmackDown versus Raw where they had the GM mode and you could draft your roster?
That's SmackDown versus Raw, so we'll get into that. But SmackDown Just Bring It was like the third SmackDown game. Yeah. The Rock's on the cover like that. I remember just the overwhelming feeling of disappointment while playing it as a young kid.
Can't remember. I had it, but I can't remember
because of the story mode.
Yeah.
What I did like about it is like, oh, if you did this story mode, you might unlock this wrestler, and that's what I enjoyed, that kind of pursuit of achievement.
Yeah,
that if you do this, you get that.
Yeah,
and this, like, on the recent WWE game, like, you know the way they're all doing VC now or whatever, virtual currency. So people can pay for virtual currency, or you can wrestle X amount of matches and it'll take forever. But like on WWE 19, I'm never paying for shit. Yeah. So I would just wrestle the matches. And the sense of achievement I get when I'd unlock and you go, okay, well, this Kane is 10,000, but I don't have a Kevin Nash. All right, I'll pay the Kevin Nash. And then I'll have to wrestle a Kevin Nash match and then wrestle I wouldn't have to wrestle a Kevin Nash match, but because I unlocked him, I'd wrestle as Kevin Nash. Yeah. And then I'd work my way up to guy. All right, now I'm getting the Kane. And all that. Like that is replayability in it.
But see, what they're doing there is...
They go, you can buy it for this. And when I bought WWE 2K24, 23, I bought like the Ultimate Edition, so I get all the DLC, which gave me a Super Booster thing or whatever, which unlocked everything immediately for me. I was like, well, fuck, like now I don't have an excuse to play it. I didn't want that.
Yeah,
maybe that's on me, but I felt like Just Bring It had a good bit of replayability. I remember at the start of it, there was the graphics. I was in my cousin's house, Julian Stephen, and I brought it over, and I was like, look at the graphics. It was like the start of the game. It wasn't the actual game itself.
I get you, yeah.
And it's like, like now they would, if it was an ad, they'd put not real game graphics.
Yeah.
But I was like, look how good it looks. And then we go play the game. They're like, it doesn't look like that.
Anything like that.
But I was like, yeah, it does. Because it was my game, so I had a sense
You're convincing yourself because you don't want to feel like you got ripped off.
Yeah. Well, I didn't feel like I felt like I got ripped off by the story mode. Because I used to bring like my PS2 with me to my nan's house if I was staying over there, or like my cousin, or whatever. I'd bring the game and my memory cards.
Yes,
just so
important.
you'd have your stuff. Because
memory cards.
I'd have my my created character
on your memory card.
I spent so fucking long to make, and then you could copy data and all that kind of stuff on your memory cards, which is brilliant. What I hate about the Legends of Wrestling game was the actual memory that it took on your memory cards, even for a created wrestler. It was fucking ridiculous.
Chock-a-block,
like those memory cards are only 8 megabytes, but
it's mad, isn't it?
Like fucking a wrestler could be fucking 2 megabytes.
I did the Call of Duty update last night. Nearly 100 gigs.
Nuts. And you have to wait there while it's happening, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You can't play it. Like.
No, you can't play it.
Blah.
You do it mode by mode. So once the first mode is down, you can play that mode while the rest is gone. But like, it's just crazy. Like 100 gig update. Like the thing is on my PS5 taking up like 400 gigs total. It's one game, like with like two modes that I play.
With my mate, when Shut Your Mouth came out.
Never got that.
No. When Shut Your Mouth came out, I was like, all right, we're cooking now.
Yeah.
Because SmackDown 4 for all the world. And I remember getting and calling up to my mate Tony Murphy's house. And we just went straight into, and like, that was really like vibrant time, I think, for WWF as well.
They were churning out games, and that would have been the era of like SmackDown 6, wouldn't it?
Around 2002, yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I suppose.
SmackDown 6 is around 2004, 2002 to 2004, yeah, maybe,
yeah.
So, but like, you would have having fucking cool stuff like Kevin Nash in the game for the first time.
Yeah.
And, it's just around WrestleMania 18. So, it's quite a vibrant, cool game. And like, we used to get in slagging matches over each other's created characters.
Look at the cut of him.
Like, like, what the fuck? And like, you used to try and make, your like a vibrant roster. So I remember I had a, and I is this Jake Roberts' brother? Because I didn't know. Sam Houston. Jake Roberts, I think, has his brother called Sam Houston, and I had a cowboy Sam Houston
on your created roster.
On my created roster, but my other one was like a guy in white gear with a white mask, and I called him Lux, Lux. Because, like,
cool, mate.
Yeah, well, like an X and something back in 2002. That was the shit. We're talking extreme. And my mate's fucking wrestler, he didn't have any name. He was just the Sharpener.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, but I was like, that's the shittest name. You're a wrestler, shit. And he's like, no, you're a wrestler,
you're
shit.
You're called Lux.
Yeah, you're called Lux. I'm like, you're called the fucking Sharpener, bro. It's like, this shit. Right, like, fair enough if it was a nickname.
Yeah.
But no, it's just the Sharpener. That's some fucking Midwest 80s shit there,
I can dig that. I can dig that.
I didn't like it.
The Terminator.
Fuck you, Tony.
The Sharpener. Yeah, fuck you, Tony.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah, Tony's a great guy. But fuck you, Tony. And fuck the Sharpener. But he used to... He used to slag me off. He hated Legends of Wrestling, the game.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I was like, no, it's fucking cool.
You have the Legends in it.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam is fucking even in it. And I know he's in that game, but he's in this game too.
Terry Funk in it?
Sabu, I think Terry Funk was in it. But like, what I loved about the Legends of Wrestling games was, so you'd have, say, Hogan.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But you'd have 4 different iterations of Hogan.
Oh, I get you, yeah.
And it wasn't 4 separate Hulk Hogans on the roster. It was like Hulk Hogan.
And you choose then.
And you can change the tights. Because like a lot of the time nowadays you get like John Cena 2017. John Cena 2000. You're like, the motherfucker wore the same fucking gear all the time.
It just clogs up the screen as well.
Yeah. I was like, why don't you just, and like, oh, well, like, John Cena 2015 was a bit less than John Cena 2000. I was like,
it just makes
just have John Cena, exactly.
Yeah.
Have John Cena and then you click over and there's a different version of John Cena. And then you can pick.
The stats might vary.
Yeah, I don't need John Cena 23, John Cena 02.
Because this, I don't know when they started doing
it comes out on the nameplate then at the start as well, and you're like, John Cena 23. You're like, I know it's only such a small thing, and not a lot of people look at all the entrances.
That would bug the shit out of me.
It bugs me.
Yeah, that would bug the shit
And
out
it shouldn't.
Yeah, no, that would bug shit.
But Legends of Wrestling...
Again, it's suspension of disbelief.
But Legends of Wrestling didn't do that. Legends of Wrestling were like...
Was Hulk Hogan... regardless of the era, and he just wore this.
You had
shit.
black and white Hulk Hogan. You had like fucking Hulk Hogan in blue. You had red and yellow Hulk Hogan, and they did that with like everybody on the roster. So Terry Funk, you got different versions. You got like old Terry Funk from like WrestleMania.
Terry Funk. You got 76.
You got ECW Terry Funk. Sabu
class.
had like it was just Sabu in different pants, but still,
it's still Sabu.
It wasn't Sabu different pants on the fucking nameplate.
Yeah.
And you could go through in Legends of Wrestling. You go through the territories.
Top class.
It was
I'm all on board for that.
And it was really fucking hard.
I never played it. I'd like that's something now.
The gameplay sucks balls. It does. And like it reminds me a lot of what Fight Forever is. It not the gameplay, but the way it looks.
Right, I get you. Yeah,
so Legends of Wrestling kind of has that unfinished feeling that Fight Forever has.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So like they're not the same game in no respects, but like because I played Shut Your Mouth, which was out around that time, and like the different variations of things that you could do in that game, I thought Legends of Wrestling, I know for a new game, they had a lot to do, but I felt like it seemed very unfinished. Very similar to what AEW Fight Forever was when it was released.
Yeah.
Very unfinished.
Yeah. We'll get to that when we catch up the timeline.
But we go through a glory period, I think, of wrestling. So this is around the time that I'm like, oh, like, what do you mean the Xbox has Raw?
Yeah. PlayStation had SmackDown.
Xbox had like WrestleMania 19, Raw, and Raw 2. And then the GameCube has what? Yeah. WrestleMania 18, Day of Reckoning, and Day of Reckoning 2. Now, I will say this. Day of Reckoning 2 and Day of Reckoning 1, they were the games that had the most multiplayer ability with my mates.
Oh, I never played them.
Man, fucking phenomenal. No commentary. No commentary in the game. It's just like intense music.
You're just in busting, get matches out of it non-stop.
Oh, man.
See, that's good, like you said, like group of lads in a room busting games.
We used to go to school and go play
this all day.
Like, I remember, so there was one time my mate had a GameCube. He had
Res Evil. Tiger Woods 04.
We had Res Evil 04. Res Evil 4 on the GameCube, which is phenomenal. And we were playing that, passing over, and there was another mate there. We're like, do you want to play? He was like, no. He got so bored that he went back to school. He got so bored of watching us play Res Evil 4 that he was like, fuck this, I'm going back to school.
Why you did? Oh, God, okay.
But when Day of Reckoning was out, no one, like everyone,
nobody was going back to school.
Because like 4 of us could play.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you needed a multi-adapter.
The adapter thing, yeah.
You could just plug 4 controllers into the GameCube and you would just burst out Hell in a Cell.
Tag team match.
Carlito's in it. Muhammad Hassan's in it. It's fucking nuts. It's one of the best wrestling games that I've ever played. And the story mode was fantastic. The story mode from Day of Reckoning 1 carried over into Day of Reckoning 2. Now, the wrestler memory or whatever, what he looked like didn't, but the story did.
That's cool. That is cool.
I think maybe the GameCube had WrestleMania 19, not the Xbox, but the Xbox had WrestleMania 21. And I was never a big fan of those Raw and Raw 2 games.
Never played them either.
And WrestleMania 20...
They were Xbox, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't play
And
them.
I think there was a Raw 2 game where you'd like start from the back. It was like a side scroller almost. But the WrestleMania 21, I remember getting that and just being like, this is very dour.
Right.
It's not.
It's not vibrant.
No, it didn't look vibrant.
Yeah.
It didn't feel vibrant. And this is in the same era, almost. It's a few years after, maybe, of Here Comes the Pain.
Which did look vibrant.
Here Comes the Pain, man. And Here Comes the Pain, because we had Legends of Wrestling, Here Comes the Pain takes that kind of thought process, and they're like, okay, that worked, and they've done this a few times. They go, that worked with Legends of Wrestling. Let's bring some legends over.
We're going to scale it up.
There's a bit. Well, they didn't have to scale it up too much, but they were like, there's a bit of an appetite for this.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in the Road Warriors. Let's bring in Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, and that's something they still do now. Like,
it's a big part. It's a big selling point.
They've been doing that idea for 20 years. Like, you see, we're announcing our legends for this year's thing.
Here's Rikishi.
Yeah,
here's
cool. Here, buy this €15 DLC to get whatever legend.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
I kind of want to play Billy Graham.
Yeah, but I remember being disappointed by their entrances, because their entrance was just the old blue, in WrestleMania 3 where they're on the blue ring that carts them down.
Yeah.
So there was no music.
I remember that. They're coming in wheeled in with no music.
Yeah. And I was like, this fucking shit.
I had that, yeah.
But like the story mode in that is amazing.
I remember you had Andre. You could pick Andre in that
Like
one.
I went and bought a PS2
just for that.
Just to play that game. Again, recent, like, I wouldn't say recent, about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I played it.
And it
was
held up.
Fucking amazing.
It held up.
It's class, man.
Deadly. It's probably better than
now,
the 2K games, anyway.
Now, like, in some of the games, you could do some wacky stuff. Like, you could climb a helicopter and get flattened off the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
And you could, like, climb the SmackDown fist and get flattened off the SmackDown fist.
Yeah, you could do... I don't know what game was, but you could do Jeff Hardy's Swanton off the SmackDown fist in one game.
Yeah, and you're just like, this is nuts. And for my little goopy goblin brain...
Yeah.
All right, Jakey Nakey. Nakey Jakey.
Who's Nakey Jakey?
You don't know Nakey Jakey?
No.
I have stuff to show you, man. He is fucking phenomenal. He's a guy that does... No, he's not naked.
Okay.
He's a guy that does, like, video game essays while sitting on a yoga ball. But he is amazing.
Okay, I'm all on board for
Red Dead. He does a Red Dead. He goes, why Red Dead Redemption is outdated, and he does one with The Last of Us as well. Like like Naughty Boy is outdated.
Yeah, I watch a lot of gaming content.
You will love this guy. He's so funny. Goopy Goblin Brain. That's like me.
Okay.
And like, I know you're a big proponent of the gaming industry and you have a lot of opinions on it. I think he'd reflect a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you could do like mad shit in them, and I suppose as a little kid that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the essence of, you didn't have to do that stuff. So the essence of the wrestling game was good, and the story mode was still there. So that's what you wanted.
Yeah, so you got scratch and itch, as they say.
Yeah. And a big thing for me then was, do you remember downloading the formulas for making Cause?
Yes, I do, actually.
AJ Styles, I remember I had him.
Yeah.
I found my memory cards when I got the PS2 to play Here Comes the Pain, and I was like, wow,
that's a long time ago.
I am a dumb fuck, because that does not look like Terry Funk.
Yeah.
How did I manage to like?
But some of them were unbelievable, though.
Maybe not as much back then. Like, you could get really good attires, but the faces were fucked.
I'm thinking of years later, probably, really, yeah.
Nowadays, it's phenomenal.
Like, I remember, like...
you can do face mapping.
2K16, like, having Ricochet in it.
I don't think he was on 16.
No, he wasn't, but I got...
Community creations,
community creation of him. And, do you know the way you could only select from certain commentator stuff? There was a wrestler that you could select that was called Rick O'Shea. And I had him obviously as Ricochet.
That's cool.
But I'd be doing the match.
O'Shea. Yeah, it's like Just Bring It with the commentary in it. Like, Shane McMahon is fighting for the Intercontinental title.
Oh,
what a match.
Yeah.
What a maneuver.
So funny, like, ridiculous.
Shut up, Taz. So we go from like Here Comes the Pain into SmackDown versus Raw, and I know they're quite highly regarded.
SmackDown versus Raw had the GM mod.
It could have been 06.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, SmackDown versus Raw or SmackDown versus Raw 06. And I spent so many fucking hours doing it.
On the GM mod, I spent like an ungodly amount of time. Now here is where it all went wrong for me.
In life.
Oh no,
This is where your addictions are still a play.
Yeah, fuck my addiction. But the next game didn't have it.
Yeah, no, so they had it for 2 years.
Was it 2 years?
And then I think they removed it. And they improved. The big thing was they improved it the second year. They made it a small bit better. But you're handling finances. You're like, I loved Championship Manager, Football Manager growing up.
Thing,
So you're like handling finances. You're trying to manage injuries and trying to keep wrestlers happy and put on good fucking cards.
And then you're
getting a fucking rating.
And it's against the AI of the other show.
And then sometimes you're like, well, the other show was absolutely dog shit. Like, why? That's a big thing now. So I played the GM mode in the recent ones. They're like, GM mode is back. You can only do it for like 8 weeks or 13 weeks.
Crap.
You couldn't do fucking I think US titles for a while and tag titles. Here's just like, bollocks.
Bollocks. What's the point
absolute
of this? Like?
Bollocks.
Yeah.
But GM mode back then was the GOAT.
What happened to me there was the third year. Will say, you know, that cycle. So I came in and I loved it. And then, as you said, they made it better. And I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever played.
It's going to be amazing.
And then the following year, it was gone.
Yeah.
And I bought the game. And
Where
I was
the
like,
fuck is it?
And then after that, I didn't buy another game till 2K16.
Wow.
I just tapped out. Because that's what once I got the taste of that,
yeah,
I couldn't play another wrestling game without it.
I don't think you missed out on much, to be fair.
Well, that was, we were getting into an era of dog shit then, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This is where it starts going wrong for me, I think. Because we had... I remember having an AJ Styles call, and I had the greatest video game wrestling match I ever had with, like, Kurt Angle. On, like, false finishes... Everything. All this, I thought the AJ's call looked great. He probably looked like a fucking dog shit.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because in your memory it's still great. Like
amazing. Around 07, nothing really stood out. Like I remember we got, maybe it was in 06 that we got like casket matches or buried live matches. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I didn't like the actual game mechanics of it, like how you would bury him alive and they're like fucking quick time events and fucking like. I always hate submissions in wrestling games.
Really worked,
and like kicking out of pinfalls in wrestling, like the hood that appears up, and you're like,
it's not conducive to drama, really.
Yeah, like kind of, it became too technical. It became harder to play. Now, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, when they introduced ECW, I remember getting a bit of a bounce off that for a while because of like the different.
It was a variation
weapons that you had and stuff, but overwhelmingly wasn't too pleased with it. I think 09 and 10 they really they were like, oh, we're going to focus on tag team wrestling, and tag team wrestling is going to be our big selling point because DX were around.
Okay,
and I was just
Triple
going,
H had to get the main part.
I was like, well, I don't give a fuck about like that. That's not a big feature to me. That your tag team wrestling is after getting better. No, like that. That's a given.
It was always there.
Well, not that was always there, but like that's not your fucking big selling point. Your selling point isn't tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not even been reflected on television.
Never.
Like, I remember buying
Vince wasn't a tag team wrestling guy.
I remember buying the magazines and looking at the screenshots, and every year just been like, this year is going to be the year that fucking hits.
And it never
has never happened. And still, I don't think it's happened to this day.
No, it hasn't. No.
Like, the disappointment I felt trying to play the Universe mode in WWE 11. Yeah. Like, the Universe mode's been around fucking years, and they still haven't got it right.
Never.
I thought we were going to have all these interlapping storylines, and, you know, like, never happened.
But Shane, like, they can't even write fucking storylines under television show.
Yeah, but I felt in the older games, a lot of the video game storylines
were better.
Yeah,
they were. Yeah.
Like now, this is when like they kind of were like, oh, we're not doing story mode, we're doing Road to WrestleMania mode. And I'm like, I don't want just 8 weeks as a Chris Jericho fucking mode or a fucking Undertaker mode where Finlay becomes a zombie. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah, I want the actual mode
and the recordings of it, like. They're in a fucking loud arena, but it still sounds like they're in a sound booth. And like I was fine with the text appearing at the end of the screen.
Was perfectly fine.
And like there was a create a story mode, and like imagine you could download some of the fucking stories.
Top class.
And just load. Like I always think the community.
Somebody out there is going to put a lot of effort into something.
Yeah,
class,
like community creations is the gem of the WWE games,
yeah.
right? The stuff that people are able to create is phenomenal. Like, why not allow, instead of, because their servers are dog shit, why not go,
I'll get to that later.
here's the ECW pack, right? Someone is after taking the time and effort for free to come up with an ECW roster and all the arenas, and just download that. And then you can insert that into your universe mode and start playing universe mode as ECW.
Yes.
Simple. Or like story modes where you can download a fucking
like
a story.
Open source your game, like.
Yeah. Like simple.
I've been saying this about Call of Duty for years.
They're not going to make money. But like, I think people might even pay for that though.
You would. If that was a feature, an extra tenner, you'd pay for it. 100%.
For the use of it. Now, like, what I don't like is that, like, you know, wrestlers' image rights and stuff would be infringed and they wouldn't be seeing any monetary gain from
it. I get that. But like, here's the thing, right, with Call of Duty. I've been playing Call of Duty for 17 years, 16 years, 17, one or the other, doesn't matter. And like, the game now is like, in so many ways, like super fluid. A lot of things feel great. It can feel shit because the servers are shit. But like, if you go back to older games that maybe feel a bit clunkier, the map design was phenomenal, and the map design now is absolute dog shit.
Yeah, but that's because they're not investing their time into that. They invest it into microtransactions.
The shop and the microtransactions, and the map design is dog shit. Like, and I just never could understand why it was like community map design, lads. Fuck me, it's not that hard.
Yeah, but they can't make money from that, can they? Like,
I don't see why not. Because you
like,
can still buy your skins that your character wears.
My problem with like today's games is that like we can give out about microtransactions, but there's motherfuckers out there spending money on this shit.
Outrageous money.
Ridiculous. Like, why are you doing that? You're feeding the beast.
Like, I would say I am a member of the Call of Duty community. Like, I play competitions, all sorts. And like, there's just this thing of like, the game is getting progressively more dog shit. And there's an update every 6 weeks and you're home, right, they're going to fix X, Y, and Z problem. And then the update goes live, like yesterday, and I spent fucking a couple of hours downloading this update ready to play. And log in, there's a whole 7 or 8 new glitches that didn't exist the day before. Only half of the previous problems have been addressed. But what works absolutely fine? The shop. And what is like updated in an instant, perfectly ready to go? The new shit you can buy, like the new fucking gun camos or the new costume for your character. All that shit works perfectly like after the update. But the game is fucking broken.
In 2K24, like it's a lot to download wrestlers. It takes a lot of patience because the
community created ones.
Yeah, the loading screens are so fucking long.
There's no excuse for that in this day.
No excuse. No. Like just
a server issue. Like.
To get onto community creations, and everything in these fucking games is a slog anyway.
Yeah.
But after spending ages downloading them, and then a fucking update happens, and then you go in and you want to be Michael P.S. Hayes, that someone has painstakingly taken fucking hours
and done it to perfection,
and done it just so other fucking people can be enjoyed. It's a beautiful thing.
It is,
and then you go and play it, and he's going up against Kerry Von Erich, and neither of them have hair anymore because the update have made him bald because it's taken away some hair texture shit. And you're like, you just fucked us all over here, 2K. You fucking assholes.
But like, that's my thing with Call of Duty as well. Like, and it's infuriating. Activision, the company behind Call of Duty, just got bought by Microsoft for $69 billion. $69 billion.
Where's all this money coming? Where's the trickle-down economy? I ain't got no money.
Like, that's more expensive. You could probably buy every club in the Premier League for $69 billion. Do you know what I mean? And like, then I go in and Epic Games, so they're the studio behind Fortnite. You can get Fortnite for free, right? And there's microtransactions in the game.
You don't have to use them.
You don't have to use them. But their servers are literally the best servers. Like, Epic are paying for the best servers possible. Call of Duty servers, which is a game you pay 80 quid for, right? And also have microtransactions. And every 3 months they bring in a new battle pass that you can pay a tenner for content, whatever. So, like, people are over the course of a lifespan of a Call of Duty game, a lot of them are buying the $100 version, and then they're paying like another $10 every 6 weeks for whatever, and then they might be buying shit on the side as well. Over the course of a year, people could be paying $300-400 on this, right? Over the course of a year in Fortnite, you might spend $100. But Epic Games are paying for the use of the best servers going. Call of Duty servers are 20% of the capacity and performance of Fortnite servers. And people are paying hundreds.
That whole world, like online play is something that I loathe. I love it. I like the intimate experience of playing games that have a good story, and that's probably why I'm gone so disenfranchised with gaming in general. Because, like, I look at say FIFA, which would have been a yearly purchase for me back in the day.
Yeah,
like
that's gone.
Like I loved career mode.
But that was the biggest game in the world at one point.
But like I loved career mode, and then they were like, oh wait, we can get people to pay Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
And fuckers played it. And I never played it.
All their focus into Ultimate Team. And then every other game mode suffered.
And that's exactly what happens with the wrestling games.
It's the exact same thing. It's like it's the same with every game. In the microtransaction era, every single game has decreased in quality. Like FIFA is a dead game. That was the biggest game ever.
But is it also that we're expecting too much from games as well, though?
No,
because I don't actually the actual physical development.
Something costs €100. You have every right.
But they're saying they're saying that the video games should be charging more now.
But do you know what the fucked up thing now as well is you don't even own the game anymore.
Yeah.
Right, like
it's not a physical commodity.
No, like Call of Duty Warzone, right? One of the biggest games ever during the pandemic and all that. Their big map that they released March 2020, Verdansk. About 2 years into the life cycle, they just removed that map. So like you can't now. They're bringing it back this year for the 5-year anniversary.
Is it paid for it?
No. They're just bringing it back into the game, but like they just removed that map and it's only one map mode. Like you can't play that game mode on another.
Well,
map.
like it's another thing that you're like the physical disc. When you got the physical disc,
you own the physical disc. That's yours.
But you also had to have a finished game.
Yeah, the game had to be ready. Yeah.
Before like all this beta fucking releasing and all that.
But Shane, that's even bullshit, right? Because the beta stuff is they'll release that for a weekend. And you play test it. They're using you as their quality assurance quality assurance department, right? Yeah. And then they'll go, right, 27 things doesn't work. Right, fix them, and then we're ready for the actual release. But now, like every game now has been released unfinished.
Yeah.
Every game. Like we picked our date for release. Our date is 25th of October. 2 weeks before that, game's not ready, Chief. Doesn't matter.
Here's Fight Forever, and we'll
release updates every 2 weeks.
The name of Fight Forever, it's going to be constantly updated. Fuck you, Tony Khan, and your fucking gaming company.
They fucked that up royally, and I know they're talking now about
talking about a sequel. Fuck off.
Yeah, no, but see what they're doing.
I'll try it maybe when it becomes available on the PS Store for fucking free in a few months after it's released.
2 years after.
No, but Fight Forever. I paid $80.
Yeah, like that's.
I've already had my rant on this.
You got a completely unfinished game because every game now is unfinished, and they say, sure. Look, we'll have again. Fight Forever does obviously smaller numbers, but like we'll have. Maybe 50,000 people get it.
Fight Forever, I probably have about 6 people playing.
Now, if even. But let's say the opening weekend, they might have 50,000 playing, right? And we'll see whatever issues exist with the game over a volume of 50,000 people. We'll find out what the issues are, and we'll release a patch next Tuesday to fix it, right? Like Call of Duty could have fucking millions of people playing opening weekend, and the game's not finished.
Yeah,
it's like this shit is crazy. Why are we getting a product? Why is a product being released if it's not finished? Yeah. Imagine going to the cinema to see the new Scorsese film, right? And then with the Rock, apparently.
Yeah.
And you go in, you see the film, and then they go, "Oh shit, we didn't edit that scene properly." That
sounds
thing
like
was
something I've edited.
yeah. So one of Shane's edits. I was like, right, we didn't do that properly. Fucking right, bring it back there.
You watch the videos. Is there any mistakes in it? Because I wasn't Irish fucking looking back over it.
And then it's like, we'll re-edit it and release an updated version.
We'll do a Schneider cut.
But imagine the film industry doing that, but for every single fucking movie that gets released.
Yeah,
because that's what the gaming industry is.
Yeah, well, it's nuts, but like it's about getting shit out there. Like, I don't blame the actual physical developers that are doing it, as in like the people that are working on the game.
They're existing within a capitalist system, Shan.
Can we go back though to, so we finished around WWE 11. Like, a lot of those games I think are quite interchangeable. They didn't
they all blend into one.
They didn't hold my attention. I remember when the TNA game came out.
Oh, I never played that.
Now that held my attention. I thought the graphics were stunning. Even I think it still holds up now. Some gameplay issues, but some fun stuff, like you'd be running and you could just press a button, you'd hop up on the ropes, and then you do a fucking dive back.
Deadly.
And WWE borrowed a lot of that after the first TNA game. They borrowed a lot of the mechanics.
Okay.
Storyline mode was... like, that's where the suicide came from, the character.
And he ended up as
an actual character, because he got beaten up by LAX and he came back and I don't know, he couldn't... His face was all fucked or whatever. And I'm like, right, they're going that route with. Yeah. But what I liked about it was, like, you're also wrestling on indies before you get to the TNA.
That is cool.
And I was like, that was kind of fun.
And that's something they brought into the UFC games as well, where you'd start the career mode as an unsigned fighter.
Every game is now trying to replicate something similar, because people want, like, and if your game is doing that, because FIFA did it for a while, where you had Alex Hunter or whatever, and if you want to do that, like, there's an appetite there for it. Like, put proper time and effort into it.
It has to be good.
It has to be good. Forget about the other shit, because this is what people want to fucking play.
Yeah,
like, people could be goblin brains. They'll probably be like, oh yeah, the fucking new DLC there. Yeah.
Remember Madden 2000? And I'm gonna probably say 2011 or 12 again. And they did a thing where you were a player, like, you know, your player mode, career mode as a player. You're not playing as the team, you're playing as a player.
Yeah.
And you have this home screen where you're like navigating through like contract offers and all this kind of stuff, and then like dealing with your agent and blah blah blah. And I was like, that was way ahead of its time. Because that's what a lot of the games are doing now. 15 years later.
Because people want to replicate that journey. But yeah, I liked TNA. TNA was another one that in college that we were playing that we got a lot of
airtime out.
A good bit of crack out of, because the other games were the wrestling games just became not fun. Legends of WrestleMania came out. That was okay.
Yeah,
it was cool getting to play like the proper licensed nostalgia.
Yeah.
But I always, being the mark that I was, particularly back then, I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, did that wrong.
Oh yeah, but that looks a bit different.
Yeah, did that wrong.
Yeah, well, no, he wasn't actually wearing those tights.
Yeah, well, you're a mark, though.
Yeah, I am.
Well, we have a wrestling podcast. I think we're both marks.
But wasn't big into All Stars, WWE All Stars, where they had like the super fucking massive physiques.
Oh yeah, no, I took one look at that and said, no, not for me.
Yeah, it's too arcadey. Yeah. And then WWE kind of goes on a bit of a dominant run, like in terms of 12. 13 I quite liked because they did the Attitude Era stuff.
Are we into the 2K era now? When did they start?
2K
14?
14 or 15, yeah.
Right.
But like, we got WWE.
So who was making their games back then? Was it that
THQ?
THQ, yeah.
We got WWE 13 and they did the Attitude Era.
Right.
And that was
perfect time for nostalgia. 13 years on.
Yeah, but they did, and they did really well, I thought. I got a good bit of crack out of it. It was nice the way they did it. I think they started relying on the nostalgia then way too much in games. 14, I think they did like a WrestleMania showcase or something.
Right. Showcase of the Immortals.
Something.
Was that one? There was a game called that, wasn't there?
Like, yeah, but they started doing these kind of things then, like the showcase mode, where like Showcase of WrestleMania, or that could have been the recent one, or fucking the Dead Man or John Cena's, and you're like, and then they use the shotgun technology.
They kind of started that with Sting, didn't they? That showcase thing, was it?
I don't think they did a showcase thing with Sting.
Oh, did it not?
I think maybe he was DLC, but
maybe that's what it was. Yeah,
they signed him because Ultimate Warrior was like a big deal for 2014.
Yeah, and Sting came later,
and then 2K, and then I remember one Christmas. I remember 2K15 playing and been like, because they did I think they had a Tough Enough thing in it, and you were like, wait,
that's kind of cool.
Where Albert, maybe not Tough Enough, but NXT,
did
an NXT thing. It was the first time like NXT guys were in it, and I was like, oh, cool, fucking Sami Zayn, and it's pretty fucking badass.
I do remember seeing that.
But I remember it being half baked once again. It was like, we'll put minimal effort. 2K16, like I remember getting it one Christmas and been fucked off after an hour because I was waiting so long on loading screens.
I bought that game, I think solely because Balor was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, right, I'm going to give I haven't bought a wrestling game since they took out the GM mod.
Yeah.
I'm going to get 2K16. It's the newest wrestling game out. Finn Balor's in it. This will be fun. You know what I mean? And I was kind of getting really very much back into wrestling at the time with New Japan and stuff. But like in terms of video games, there wasn't many options.
Did you ever play Fire Pro?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Did you like that?
Great crack.
I wasn't a big fan of, because I have Fire Pro. I just couldn't figure out the controls.
Yeah, it is a little bit tricky,
I have it on the PS5. But I wanted to play Wrestle Dynasty, and I've never got to play that.
Oh yeah, never played that.
I've always wanted to play that. It just looks cool. Yeah, Vader and shit in it.
Fire Pro just looks cool as well. Like,
yeah.
I played it in a mates.
Did you ever play the backyard wrestling games?
Never.
They were the shit, man.
Yeah,
I would have preferred if they had it like signed with, say, CZW, so you could use like the CZW arena.
Yeah, Danzig and all the boys.
No, they were all in it.
They were in
so
it?
Sick Nick Mondo's in it. Danzig's in it. N-Dog 20 is in it. I remember meeting N-Dog 20 in the Ormond Hotel in Kilkenny.
Yeah.
And I had known him from the Backyard Wrestling DVDs where he's gone up against Josh Prohibition. But like they're in the wrestling. But the wrestling game is like, it is kind of like, it's not a wrestling game, if you get me.
Right.
It's it's backyard wrestling. Obviously, you're wrestling in a backyard or whatever, but you're also wrestling like a golf course and you're wrestling in
I can get
a
on board with
construction
that.
site. But it was more kind of like you'd punch them and they'd do a big flip kind of thing. It wasn't proper like. Oh, well, wouldn't even count backyard wrestling proper.
Is it nearly like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
type thing?
kind of. Yeah, and I remember it being fucking incredibly hard too.
Yeah.
But I bought those games like for full price when they came out, 60 quid at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
quid
shit!
now, like.
But they're fairly
It
dog.
can't be 80 quid now.
They're fairly dog.
Yeah. Sure, look what you're going to do. Like, a lot of them games are going to be dog shit.
But 2K16, you bought that. Did you like it?
No. I thought it was the biggest piece of shit I ever played in my life. I never bought a wrestling game of that kind since.
I bought. So during the pandemic, I didn't buy 18. I didn't buy 19. I didn't buy 20. But and 20 was what like really broke the fucking camel's back for a lot of people because they were releasing dog shit stuff.
Yeah.
I never got to play it. And they went too far, I think, into the fantasy of it. Of
and
like, you're wrestling in fucking a lava arena or a castle.
Back to that shit, yeah.
You're like, no one wants that.
And do you know
give
what,
us
like,
fucking the Backlash set where they're fucking swinging shit.
But wasn't that was released like still in the pandemic? It was the perfect time to capture gamers.
Yeah,
the perfect time.
And they fucked it.
Yeah.
Well, like they wouldn't have known it was the pandemic. But what happened was
by the time it was released, they would have
2K19. No, by the time see that used to get released in November.
Oh, sorry, the November before.
So it would have been November 19.
So yeah, 2K21 would have been the pandemic.
The PlayStation Store had 2K19 on it, and I got that, and I remember going, "All right, yeah,
not bad.
2K19 is pretty fucking good." There's some like the story mode where you meet someone backstage, and there's like 4 people all there, and you walk over.
You
to this
choose
person.
which one, yeah.
Instead of like back in the day. Like you could walk around the arena and you see Hulk Hogan there, which is kind of fun. What they do now is like it's like a first person view, and there's the Miz, and and you're like, no,
not for me.
But I remember really enjoying it. I remember really enjoying like going, all right, the big boss man. If I get X amount of VLC or whatever,
I can get him.
VC,
it's
I
just
get him.
like what you're saying with Kevin Nash and
So you start doing that, and I enjoyed it. There were certain points in the game.
Do you know what they call that in the gaming world? Something to grind for.
Grinding.
Yeah.
Grinding.
Like Call of Duty, you have the camo grind or whatever. You know what I mean?
And like you'd get more VLC or VC for the better of matches that you're having.
Yeah.
So if you put it up to a hard.
All right, you get more. You
get more of a star rating. Like you could go in there and fucking steamroll lads on an easy rating. But you need to do that a million times to get like enough VC.
Well, I remember in Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, in some of their game modes, they brought in this thing where you had to collect paint cans, and for every certain amount of paint cans you collected, you got unlocked camos for your guns. And honestly, I would play.
Isn't that infinitely more better than like I know not for their company, but it's infinitely more better
than paying for it.
Yeah.
But what they got out of me was hours of me. Like, so when they go to their, their quarterly meetings, and they say, "Well, our average player is now playing
for longer,
X hours a week, more than
my 2K24. Like I remember,
that's why WWE start doing 7-hour WrestleManias.
Yeah,
to get their average viewer or to get their hourly viewers or views per minute or whatever it is.
With 2K24, like I noticed that I've dropped off that game like really quickly.
Yeah,
really.
Well, that was me with
quick.
2K16.
Like, didn't even finish showcase mode, which is WrestleMania.
Did you get
stuff.
a good week out of it?
I don't know.
Yeah, see if you can't even get
I'm immediately going, like the story mode didn't grab me. I'm immediately going to like community creations to try and like freshen up the game, and I get my OTT ring now. And
if you're at that within a few days, the game's fucked.
Yeah, but like the game could be so
sure, like the world of wrestling is perfect.
And now like I see it with like I think I bought 22 and 23 and 24. So I got sucked into the cycle again. But like I don't buy a lot of video games because I don't enjoy. I bought Hogwarts there recently and I just could not play it. I like the Spider-Man games there recently. The Guardians of the Galaxy game is quite good.
I haven't tried that.
That's very fun. Very good story mode.
The new Marvel's game.
Yeah, I'd have no interest in something like that.
Third-person shooter.
I'd have no interest in
kind of third-person shooter. It's like kind of like League of Legends type thing.
I thought it was like Fortnite or something.
No, yeah, it can look like Fortnite on the screen, but Fortnite's a little bit different. It's more like League of Legends in terms of your characters have special abilities.
Yeah, like I just it's an online multiplayer.
Online multiplayer.
I have no fucking interest in that.
See, that's my real
like I would even like if say if WWE were like, okay, like GTA do. You buy the fucking game and then you pay a monthly subscription and you get an updates for it. I'd probably do that more so than like, here's 4 wrestlers on a DLC after 3 months. Yeah. Here's another 4 on a DLC. Just,
well, see, like,
if I felt like
with GTA, if you buy the game, you just need to pay your PlayStation Network subscription to play the online mode.
I don't think, but then do you need GTA? Do you not get GTA Online? Is that not a separate?
Oh, sorry, yeah, it is, yeah. But that's not a subscription though, is it? I think you pay it once.
Yeah, well, like
I can't remember.
You could. I think it's still a subscription. You can do a subscription model,
right?
But I think
I'm sure you can.
I think if there's fair, people will pay for stuff that they think is fair.
If you're getting the use out of it,
and I notice maybe a lot of people who have come into video games after us probably don't know any different.
No, they don't.
So it seems fine to them.
And they don't know that the game should be finished on release.
And they don't know
they don't even know that. Like.
Yeah, they don't know that shouldn't feel ripped off.
If you're 16 now, right, and you're playing Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever, like you've never had an era where the games were finished on release.
You never had an era at 12 o'clock waiting at GameStop.
Never.
For the new Call of Duty. I never did that either. I thought you were fucking losers, but
I did that, John.
Yeah, I knew you would.
Yeah.
Fucking loser.
I also did it for a Harry Potter book.
And you did it for Warzone too. WWE? WWF Warzone.
No, that wasn't the night before. That was the morning of.
Oh, yeah. You were first in the queue.
I was down there, like, said the game opened the shop opened at 9:30. I was there at 7.
Loser. Oh, Tony Hawk's was another big game for me as well.
What a game.
They fucked that too.
Did they? Fuck's sake. There's nothing sacred anymore.
No, and now we're getting remasters. I'd like to get a remaster of a WWE like game.
Yeah.
Or maybe not a remaster, just going like, you know what we're going to do now? This is WWF Monday Night Wars. Here's fucking the WWF roster, the WCW roster, the ECW roster, and you're going to play it.
Easy money.
Yeah.
I like
Take my fucking money.
I'd say it was about 7 or 8 years ago, maybe more, 9 years ago. Maybe 7 or 8 years ago. They remastered the MW4. It was...
you fucking love Call of Duty, don't you?
Oh yeah, or COD 4. It's the first Modern Warfare.
It makes me sick playing it,
and
like because I can't play first person shooters.
Yeah, that can happen to some people.
What happened was my dad went down when I was sick. He went down. I was off school, and he bought me 2 PS1 games. One was it Rayman?
Yeah.
He bought me that, and he bought me Alien, and Alien made me sicker.
It was first person shooter.
Yeah, and it's like dark and dingy on a ship, and it's
that
like
can happen to some people.
I get dizzy playing or watching first person shooters.
There is things you can do. They actually have it because they know that they're built into the game now about
motion blurs
and all that. But I don't think it works.
I remember trying to play Medal of Honor before, and I was like, "This fucking shit."
That was like the precursor to Call of Duty.
Seeing the fucking hands, no, fuck that shit.
Man, I love it. I love it so much.
But do you think a first person wrestler game? Imagine that VR that shit.
That would be fucking weird.
You'd be getting fucked around the place.
Yeah.
Do you remember? It could have been SmackDown versus Raw 2008. They did have the Wii kind of aspect to it.
Yeah. I never tried that actually. Did you try that?
Yeah, I tried it. It was dog shit.
Yeah, that was never going to work.
Yeah, like I had like SmackDown versus Raw and say PSP as well.
Yeah.
This is like
Well,
this.
SmackDown vs. Raw on PSP also had the general manager mode. That was unbelievable on the PSP.
The Fight Marks, you know those boys?
Yeah.
They have a Fight Marks Extra. They're playing GM mode now. They're putting their GM mode stuff up on it.
On
YouTube.
But are they playing what?
They were telling me on their way to OTT, I think they were playing it on their PSP.
On the PSP, top class.
Passing controllers.
Top class.
But I think they're passing controllers now on their new YouTube channel, Fight Marks Extra.
Well, yeah, I have a couple of ideas about that based on my addiction, you know what I mean?
So I want to get into your addiction, but I do want to talk about WWE 2K25 now.
That's coming out relatively soon.
Yeah, so I've already expressed my absolute complete dismay and embarrassment with myself for falling for AEW Fight Forever.
Yeah. And you're going to fall for
2K25
as well?
No, I'm not buying it.
Okay.
So Fight Forever, I hate that game. I hate how ripped off it makes me feel. I try, and you know what? I went back on myself because my missus was away for a few hours, so I was like, and this was when the PlayStation Store was down, so my ES subscription wasn't working. Sometimes you can just click into FIFA and play a quick game, and then that's your video game. Fucking
that's you. You've scratched your itch.
I don't even like Ghost of Tsushima, and I played that all Christmas. Everyone was telling me to fucking play it, and I was like, this is so repetitive. It is dog shit. People might disagree, but you know, when you compare Ghost of Tsushima with Red Dead Redemption or something as compelling as The Last of Us, that is constantly moving, you know.
Last was one of the best games ever.
Ghost, I don't like Ghost of Tsushima anyway, but Fight Forever, is that where I was?
Yeah,
they're going for Fight Forever to Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, somehow.
But yeah, Fight Forever. I tried to play a game of it there the other day. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. I'll give it one more go.
Yeah.
And I clicked into it, and in the character select screen, they had these like non-wrestler characters that are the most generic cause that you've ever seen in your fucking life.
Why are they there?
I have no idea. To fucking pad out the game.
That's nonsense.
That is fucking. You sons of bitches.
It's a dead game. It's a dead game.
It's no, but like I was like, you have all this fucking DLC. You have fucking Will Ospreay isn't even in the game, and you're giving me some fucking.
It's a dead game, like
Derek Green with a green mohawk, and you're like this.
I hate that shit. I hate
horrible.
That shit. Yeah,
horrible. Who wants to wrestle as them?
They always look crap as well.
I went and played a match. I played it as Penta, and they were like, Penta's 2-0. So I was like, I must have played twice as Penta before, and I played it, and I was like, this is terrible. Yeah. This is a bad game.
When that released initially, it clashed with the release of a new Call of Duty, and new Call of Duty release weekend is like one of my favorite weekends of the year. I will play for 48 hours, and I said I'll check out Fight Forever next week, like, you know. So I grinded Call of Duty all week, doing as many challenges as I could, getting as many camos, all that crack, learning the maps, having a great time. And then I think about on the Wednesday, I got on to Dunph. I was like, "What's crack with Fight Forever?" I think he got it.
I don't know. I think he asked me about. He was talking to me about because I was like,
and he came back to me and said, "Dog shit." I was like, "Right, well, I don't need to play it then." I never. Yeah. So after I was like, "Grand." So I didn't get caught for the 80 quid or whatever that you got caught for. You know what I mean? You just never played it.
Yeah, I hated it, and it was my first.
But I did have high hopes for it in advance.
Yeah, so did I.
They promised a lot.
Yeah, it was the first chink in the armor, I think, for me with AEW.
Yeah, they let you down.
No, sorry, the first one was the barbed wire death match.
Yeah,
and then it was this, and I was like, "Oh, guys, you can't be."
It was only about 6 months between that.
Yeah, it was. It's the most disappointing fucking. No, it was more than 6 months between that.
Was it?
Yeah,
barbed wire death match was February.
Yeah, but this came out in 2023. Barbed wire deathmatch
was it 2023? I thought it was 2022.
Barbed wire deathmatch was in the pandemic era.
Fight Forever wasn't 2023. Was it that late?
Yeah, it's 2 years old now. Yeah, nearly.
Feels old. I thought it was like 2021.
No, it feels like it was made in fucking 98. All right, it looks like it. But horrible game, horrible game.
Shane doesn't like the game.
I hate it so much. And 2K25 is not going to get me. They had this whole island thing.
That looks stupid.
Just make a fucking wrestling game.
Make a wrestling
AEW doing mini games, doing fucking story modes where you're going out and you're talking to fucking taking selfies and eating at this. No one wants to do that.
Just play the fucking game.
Just let me fucking do a cool story mode. Have a good community. I've said it before.
I log in now to Call of Duty a few nights a week.
Is this the Call of Duty podcast or something?
Well, no, because it's how I relate to video games. And like
the Codcast.
There is
I fucking knew it.
There's a podcast called The Codcast.
I knew it.
Actually, we could probably take that because those lads haven't released an episode in a long
You could
time.
I am never going to play Call of Duty.
That's fair.
Just like Fight Forever.
But I log in, right, and I play one game mode, and I play with 3 or 4 other lads on headsets, and
you whisper sweet nothings into each other's
literally
ears.
sweet man. And like, but there's one game mode we playing. It's a game mode that's done fairly well. It has a lot of issues. Won't get into it. It's not the Codcast, and like, but it's one game mode, and that's all we need. And we play it over and over and over again, and it feels fresh.
Send each other nudes.
Send each other nudes of my controller,
But
my joystick.
But like, do you get annoyed when? This might show my age and how bitter I am. But do you get annoyed when people are like, "Well, no, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying Fight Forever." Like, fuck off. No, you're not.
Well, look, a lot of people are lying.
The tribalism.
A lot of it is tribalism.
It's
If the game is shit,
off.
the game is shit.
The game
Like,
sucks ass.
And also, like,
you
if
fucking
if
imbeciles.
if your favorite wrestling company is releasing a bad product, they can still be your favorite wrestling company, and it's actually not helpful for you as them being your favorite company to say, no, actually, this is really good.
This is really good. This is great. Oh no, the gameplay is so good. It's a fucking dog shit game.
Like we did our State of the Union there around Christmas, our State of the Union episode.
Yeah.
And like, I'm known as the AEW guy. I trashed him because the product wasn't good. I do think the product has turned around a lot in recent weeks. But like, it would have been disingenuous of me
that game didn't turn around.
And it never will.
All those people turned their backs on that game. You know why? Because it fucking sucks. And if you still defend it,
you're an idiot. If you
you're
defend
a fucking idiot.
But I think the game's going to be like gone in 6 months.
But like 2K25, same thing.
More nonsense. More nonsense.
The island.
Yeah.
No one wants to do the fucking island.
Just give us a wrestling game.
And right, I'll clip this and I'll go, no one wants to do the island. And you'll have people going,
some
I want to
WWE.
do, who you talking for?
Yeah.
I want to do the island. No, you're not a wrestling fan then.
It was like that Hulk Hogan fan on our YouTube the other day who went back and forth with me for 18 replies on why.
I had to go to you and be like, dude, these are your comments. You go defend them.
Yeah.
I'm not defending them.
So I went in and like I kept texting Shane going like, I'm going to farm this guy for engagement. I did. I got 18 replies out.
Did you win or did he win?
And in the end, he just kind of agreed with one of the things I was saying.
All right. He seemed very intellectual.
I would say so. He seemed like English definitely wasn't his first language.
Okay.
I have no idea where he's from. I've taught people English who it's not their first language, and I'd noticed some of the writing things like, yeah, he's definitely not English first language. So a couple of his points, I was like, I'm not really sure what he's trying to say there. But like, yeah, he seemed like a smart guy, but also seemed like he liked Hulk Hogan. I'm like, it's hard to like Hulk Hogan.
Well, it's hard to like Terry Bollea. Maybe Hulk Hogan.
They're the same fucking person.
Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch penis. Terry Bollea does
Neither
not.
of them do. Neither of them.
Hulk Hogan does.
He doesn't.
He said it in court.
He's a liar. Clip that.
Yeah. But no, well, like this whole island thing.
It's just nonsense, Shane. And
bullshit.
Like you said, people will come in on underneath a TikTok video.
Oh, this looks so fire. This looks so good. What does? It's not a wrestling game. You're going out. No. They're trying to mine you for money, and you're fucking
and you're
paying it.
For it. Like Shane fell for it the last 4 years on two different companies.
All the time. Just don't make my mistakes. I'm telling you now. This is you in the future. This is you in the future telling you, do not buy that fucking game.
Also, I'm sure a lot of people who have that mindset who'll tell you it's good when it's not.
They're not your friends.
Also, they're probably 17, 16, 15-year-olds.
We're the wrestling show.
We are.
The F in wrestling fan wrestling show stands for friend.
Friend. Fan.
Yeah.
Will we get on to my addiction, Shan?
Yeah, right. I want to get onto your addiction, but I just want to really, really, really reiterate: don't buy 2K25. It's going to suck ass.
And definitely don't buy Fight Forever because it does suck ass.
Buy Fight Forever.
Don't
the
fight
F
forever.
in Fight Forever doesn't stand for friend. It stands for fucking you up the asshole.
Wow.
Fuck me.
Yeah,
that's what that game did.
Yeah.
It fucked me up the asshole.
Oh, look, if that's something you like.
I'm not clipping that.
Don't clip that. That can't go on the internet. Well, it'll be on the internet.
It will be on the internet.
Not focus on a 1 minute clip.
Well, it might. I don't know. I never knew. I didn't do with the whole you and wishing death upon Hulk Hogan.
You didn't clip me there, yeah. Thank God.
Yet.
Right,
your addiction. Right, get into it.
TWIX, Total Extreme Wrestling IX.
I am Niall Morrissey and I'm
addicted to
TW-aholic.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So this harpens back to your love for GM mode.
It does, yeah. It's a GM mode.
Yeah, I loved Extreme Warfare Revenge, which is
one of the early versions.
It was the earliest, It was released in 2002. Adam Ryland.
Same guy.
Is it him?
Yeah.
He released a great thing in 2002. I didn't really pick it up and say until about 2012.
Yeah.
You could get
mods for it.
That goes to show the community creations again.
Super mod. Obviously,
it's designed for it.
Adam Ryland himself can't go in and put in all the modern wrestling.
Hogan,
you know what I mean? Can't do that. He never going to get the license for that for every wrestler, every company. But it's open source, so people can create mods, and they do, and the mods are excellent. And there's really there is an absolute mountain of mods. You can play any era.
I went to buy it the other day, and I kind of got overwhelmed with the sheer amount of possibilities that I could have.
It's just crazy.
So I was like, well, do I want to do what Morro's doing in 2002 and actually beat him and be like, hey, fuck you, Morro? Mm-hmm. Or I was like, oh no, maybe the territories. Oh no, maybe I'd be WWF in 2002, and
you can do
or
that,
I could be TNA, or I'd be AEW now and I fix it.
Because I have done saves of I did a modern AEW save. I did a AEW starting from scratch save, like day one AEW with their day one roster, and see what I would do differently or whatever.
Failed.
But I
released a shitty video game, and
it blew up my face.
You release video games in TEW?
As you upgrade your merch department, that becomes a part of it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's very in depth.
It's incredibly in depth, and for some people, it might be a little too in depth.
Yeah.
Like to play a month of the game, it's hours.
Yeah. That's how long it takes me in Football Manager to play.
And it's
you'd be scouting Venezuela quite extensively.
And it's probably in some ways even a little bit slower than Football Manager.
Yeah, well, my big detractor, because I had TW 2016, and I've mentioned to you before. I think maybe mentioned on the last one or two
user
podcasts.
Interface.
It's bad. Like
its user interface is not good. Now, the more you play it, the user interface gets a little bit easier for you to navigate.
You know what stuff is.
Yeah,
but what my big
that was
issue,
a tough point of entry for me in it.
The games are so designed for PC. Like I'd love a mobile version, or not even because I don't play games on my phone. But
there is a mobile.
It's a real sitting on the bog thing I could do.
Yeah, 10 minutes. There's a very. I really like to shout out this game actually because a guy put a lot of work into it, and I cannot remember.
Wrestling Revolution.
No.
By M. Dickey.
No.
I'm just going to wait for him now.
I'm not going to find it now, but it's essentially a very simple mobile wrestling
Journey of Wrestling?
JOW, Journey of Wrestling, yeah. Really simple mobile game. I think you can get it for €15.
No, it's free.
It used to be free. I don't think it is anymore.
There's a free version. There's a free one on desktop. So go check out Journey of Wrestling.
Yeah,
you can do it there.
that's how I started on Wrestling Sims. It's
no, GM mode was.
Well, GM mode, yeah.
And if you want to be really particular, the very first SmackDown where you're making pay-per-views.
True. So obviously that was always my interest.
If you want to be really particular, getting out your figures.
Yeah. My figures were probably the first. It's fantasy booking.
We did the Rumble.
Yeah.
Of
and we're going to do Bo Dallas.
But that's fantasy booking as well.
It's the same thing. Journey of Wrestling, I just tip away at it on my phone, you know what I mean, just a few minutes every here and there.
Do you ever play Wrestling Revolution by MD Dickey or whatever?
No,
that's
is that similar.
You can do anything in it. It's crazy. You can. There's Wrestling Empire.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, go check. It's the same guys. Go check that out. I see. I don't know if they make you actually do the wrestling matches, which I don't really have.
I don't want to do. I don't want to do that. Yeah,
but I would love the type of open source how big the game could be, but actually having wrestling matches in the back, like merging FIFA with Football Manager.
We've always said that, and it's never been done.
And merging, say, a SmackDown game
with TW. I think what I would say with TWAX or 9 is like outrageously detailed and time consuming. And if that's what you want, great, do that. But like, it's rewarding as well. It's fun.
Do you ever get annoyed?
Journey of Wrestling is a much more simplified version of that.
Do you ever get annoyed where I remember trying to book so I had the 2002, I used the original roster for a while for Extreme Warfare Revenge, and I got annoyed when no one liked my Bradshaw Farouk feud. I was like, the APA just broke up. Like, there should be a banging feud.
Well, like, I have an issue there now at the minute. I'm booking the world's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, WCW 2003. And they're not over with the crowd.
Yeah, no one cares.
They're cool. Like you get momentum ratings. There's cold. They're not quite cold. They're cool. Cool momentum. I'm like, I just want to push these guys.
They need a hot feud.
I've tried. Actually, weirdly, Charlie Haas has gotten kind of lukewarm. So he's trending towards.
What happened with Shelton happened with Shelton Benjamin? When did he really get over? Shawn Michaels. You have Shawn Michaels on your roster.
Shawn Michaels on my roster.
And he's tagging with Daniel Bryan?
No, they've broken up. Yeah, Daniel
Who's
Bryan.
The heel?
Daniel Bryan.
And who's...
Bryan Danielson at 23 years of age is my world champion. Oh. He took it off Michaels.
Oh. And why don't you put Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas with Daniel Bryan?
They're with Kurt Angle.
You turn on Kurt.
I like that idea.
Turn on Kurt. Go with Daniel Bryan, and then you put Shelton Benjamin against Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Shawn Michaels. Because I am looking at starting a faction for... I'm currently breaking up the House of Heyman, which is Paul Heyman's faction. CM Punk is his lead guy in the faction. They turned on Samoa Joe recently, and then Joe beat CM Punk for the US title. But the faction is starting to disintegrate. And I'm looking at
House of Heyman.
Well, I'm not going to put Heyman there. I'm going to do something a little different with Heyman after a while. I'm just going to ice him for a little bit, take him off TV for a few months.
You're trying to come Brock Lesnar. You getting Brock?
I don't know. His contract is up pretty soon, and he hasn't.
EW motherfucker.
He hasn't debuted on the main roster yet.
Yeah.
I also in my own developmental have Batista.
Ooh, very nice.
So I'm either if I don't get Brock,
he hated Sarge.
Yeah, he did. If I don't get Brock, Heyman's coming in with Batista.
Okay, cool.
If I get Brock, he's not. So I'm taking Heyman out of the equation, breaking up the House of Heyman with CM Punk.
But this isn't Batista as we know him. It's a different. It's young Batista.
It's young Batista.
You got to work with. Yeah. Well, he's not that young. He's about 32.
27 at the minute. Or no, he's a little bit older actually.
Yeah, I think he was 30 when he got into wrestling.
Yeah, I think he's maybe about 31, 32. His stats are dog shit still, but he's in my developmental and he's getting better. I want to, instead of the CM Punk led faction, I want a Danielson led heel faction.
There's a few games that are coming out. UPW Ultra Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
it's going back to the Aki engine.
That'll be cool.
Apparently,
could be cool.
They're not a massive focus on graphics, it seems, but it seems to have the heart in it that maybe a lot of wrestling fans missed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. They have a DLC where it won't cost a lot for DLC, but you're buying individually, I think, and the wrestlers then get a cut of that DLC.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
I think that's what they're trying. There's the wrestling code that it looks like that's been in developmental for ages.
I feel like
4 or 5 years.
Time,
yeah. And then there's a few other ones. There's one, I can't remember its name. It's a very physics based thing.
Okay.
So like you hit the ropes in a certain way. It looks completely. It looks like it's trying to revolutionize something. Maybe come up with a new match engine, which is interesting. And then there's one more game that I've seen.
WWE by their match engine. They make millions.
I think there's a guy. I think he's doing a death match thing. There's Ruckus against somebody. It looks really cool.
Mikey Ruckus.
No, Ruckus from CZW.
Oh, sorry. Mikey Ruckus is
Mikey Ruckus.
I don't know.
Is this fucking another Call of Duty thing?
No. I think Mikey Ruckus might be the guy who does some of the music for AEW people.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
names in my head.
Any hope for you're just going to keep doing TW?
I'm going to drive home right now.
Yeah. Well, you need to get your fucking thinking back cap on and how Bo Dallas is going to main event WrestleMania next year.
I have a little save with that on it. I'm just laying up some things. I'm struggling to get them over.
I have to sit down and write it. I have a brief idea in my head.
Yeah, I'm like, it's hard to not do something generic with the White Six.
Because we're going to have to go from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania with weeks of like
we're doing
every week.
8 weeks of wrestling.
That's what we said. 8 weeks of TV show and then the WrestleMania.
Elimination Chamber. Did we say that?
No, 4 weeks Elimination Chamber.
And then 4 weeks WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that's what we said we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, look out for that.
I think that'll be closer to WrestleMania, will it? When we do it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You didn't want to do the wrestling video game podcast because you said you didn't know much about wrestling video games?
Well, it was nice to listen to you talk about all the wrestling video games.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to just fucking... I
Look,
see 2K25 and
you've wanted to do this...
Everyone has always said
ages,
no.
And we always say no.
And I don't... Now I'm thinking I didn't do it justice. So let me know in the comments below.
And so, you know what, you were on today and I had my idea of what what I wanted to do.
You want to do another State of the Union?
Yeah, because I think things have changed drastically. But hang on.
AEW.
It's not even AEW, it's WWE as well. And it's also, more than anyone, New Japan.
Because Goto.
Just the recentering of characters over there has been sensational.
Who's watching that?
Me.
How are you watching that with TW on the background? You're selling goods as well.
Look, I don't sleep. Look at these bags. Look at these bags. I came home from work yesterday. I played TW for 2 hours. Eating at the same time. Watching wrestling on the telly. Then went in and played Call of Duty for 3 hours.
Life O'Reilly, man.
Life O'Reilly.
I was up wrestling.
Selling goods in between. You know what I mean?
I was up wrestling training myself, bye.
I got up then at 7 o'clock this morning. Went to the gym, pumped iron.
Nice.
What was the other thing I was going to say?
You wanted to State of the Union.
I wanted to State of the Union, but I realised there was an announcement made during the day that The Rock's going to be on SmackDown tonight.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do a State of the Union until we see
what the State of the Union is.
Yeah, because we don't know what State of the Union.
I think maybe if we do State of the Union Saturday night main event style every quarter.
Yeah.
That'll...
Yeah, that's right. That is the right way to do it, but I think so much has changed in the last 2 years.
I think Johnny March says he wants to do a Hall of Fame one.
Yeah, well, we were talking about me and you doing a Hall of Fame one, but Johnny Martz, we can't do a Hall of Fame episode without Johnny Martz.
We need him.
Yeah, he is our Hall of Famer.
Like, well, Bobo Brazil, and I'm like, fucking Bobo Brazil.
Yeah, how did I forget Bobo Brazil?
Toots Montt. I'm like, yeah. Tell me about the Toots Montt
couldn't
wrestling.
possibly do a Hall of Fame episode.
I want to do a Jim Cornette one. And it's funny because someone, when we put up a post on TikTok,
said, I could just watch
this on Jim Cornette. And I was like, I had previously mentioned Jim Cornette to the boys. I wanted to do a podcast on Jim Cornette.
Go fucking watch Jim Cornette.
Do you watch him?
Bastard. No.
I do. I don't watch him. I listen.
Yeah, no, I don't. I find him to be...
Hey, save it for the podcast.
Okay.
Wrestling conspiracies as well. I think that might be a fun one.
That's a good one. Yeah, how about like people like, if you watch this far, tell us, do you want the Jim Cornette? Do you want wrestling conspiracies? Do you want the Hall of Fame episode?
Yeah, let us know. There's your choice.
We said we might record when Johnny Martz is around next week. So
yeah, next Wednesday. So let us know. Out of those 3, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah,
because there's like, it's growing. The views are growing. I know you might only see like 30 views under this if you're currently watching it or if you're listening. The podcast numbers for listening is fucking great.
Yeah.
So just get in contact with us.
It's mad. The Spotify numbers are like way higher than the YouTube numbers.
Yeah, which is, I thought it'd be the other way around.
Well,
but like, see, the clips help as well.
They do, yeah.
I don't know.
It's people driving to and from work.
Yeah. Wherever you happen to be in contact with us, whether it be on YouTube, you can even leave comments on Spotify, on X.
Give us a rating of 5 as well. There, that's massive for the algorithm.
Class. Hall of Fame, Jim Cornette, or Wrestling Conspiracies.
I want to do all of these.
Yeah, we probably will end up doing them all. But what do you want next? Who's next? Bill fucking Goldberg. This has been the Wrestling Fan at Wrestling Show. I've been Shaz Beef or Little Shazville. He's been Morro, the addicted one.
Yeah.
We are the old
Morro
Bucks. Stay safe, stay sane.